Hey guys, and welcome to an awesome game between Hitman Hippo as Kislev going up against the Grand Cathay. So at the front here, we are going to be having the Sword and Shield Jade Warriors. These bad boys are ready to go with their harmony, and they can be very powerful indeed. In the backside, we are going to be having Peasant Long Spearmen, 2 on either flank, and then we are going to have some Jade Warrior Halberds. In the middle, 2 units of the Crane Gunners, very good snipers here with 275 range. Very good armor piercing, but they are very susceptible to being compromised by melee combat. Now we are going to have the Jade Warrior Crossbows in the middle, very good tanky ranged units that their durability really does go quite high here in Warhammer 3. Now we are, for the Lord choice, going to be having the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin here with the Jade Amulet, the Arcane Conduit with the Ancestral Warrior, and then the Talons of Night Summon. We're also going to be having a Terracotta Sentinel leading the battlefield here. The big Terrafor boy is very good with 600 armor-piercing weapon strength. So for the front line of Kislev, starting here with the Little Grom, the Grand Cannon here, led by the Polar Bears of old, with some serious stats for sure. 450 range, 530 armor-piercing missile strength. This bad boy is very strong indeed. In the front line, we are going to be having Armoured Cossars, 5 here in total. In the back, we are going to have regular Cossars as well, just to really increase that DPS. Maybe take down some of those more lightly armed units, such as the Peasant Long Spearmen. 1 unit of the Streltsy, bringing the bucket loads of armor piercing, with a unit of the Zargard with those silver shields, and then the Warbear Riders. The boys in the back that are ready to go, the anti-large armor piercing snipers in the backside, ready to protect up against all those very expensive range units. So for the Lord choice, we are going to have the Ice Wish Tempest. She's going to be having the Arcane Conduit, the Freezing Winds for the Lord passive, and the Iron Ice Armor. For the spells, we're going to have Blizzard, the Gust of True Flight, Hailstorm, which is one of my favourite spells here from Kislev, alongside the Snowflake Pendant. So we're going to engage here a little bit in some long-range fire. Little Grom is going to be using the Gust of True Flight, giving the accuracy increase, and then also the range buff, which I think is a really nice add-on here. Really good stuff there coming from Hitman Hippo, as he's now going to be firing into the pocket. At the moment, not too sure what he's going to be firing at. A little bit of damage here coming on the Sentinel, so maybe early doors it was on the Sentinel, but now we're going to be hitting up against the Crane Gunners. Crane Gunners now going to be firing back up against Little Grom. Pretty decent damage. These snipers really don't miss. So it's like Hitman is going to charge away, quite a bit of damage on Little Grom. He's now going to turn and burn a little bit, a very slow turning circle. He tries to shoot the Lord choice, but good mobility there coming from the Lord on a Longmar, and lots of damage coming up against Little Grom. In the middle, we are going to have the Ice Witch doing a bit of a 360 here. She's trying to dodge all kind of shots in the middle. Lovely damage up against the Crane Gunners, and they're going to be dwindling down on numbers. 23 there and 29 out of 32. Little Grom's still going to be shooting. He's taking quite a bit of damage in the middle, and there we go. Nice hailstorm coming down on the Crane Gunners. It's really going to be a back and forth duel. Crossbow's going to be firing in the middle, and now the frontline forces are going to be engaging. We see here that we have the Armoured Cossars moving on the right-hand flank, maybe trying to see if they can compromise the Jade Warriors. Now those shields will help protect up against those small missiles. However, it's still going to be damage, and damage is damage at the end of the day. Now we're going to be having the Ice Wish Tempest moving forward, trying to get into the trees, finding that protection, and here we go. This is why I love this spell. 200 range, great armor piercing, and that sound is gorgeous. Just taking down all these Crane Gunner models in the middle, as we're also going to be firing here with the Armoured Cossars, and Cossars taking down the nice expensive Crane Gunners. Now, one big disadvantage for the Crane Gunners is the fact that, you know, all sorts of terrain really isn't very handy for them. Not very good with line of sight, but when they do have line of sight, they are devastating for sure. Now, on the back, we are going to be having Little Grom here firing into the front, and now he's going to kind of retreat back to the Dervishes. There's 2 in the rear side here, waiting to clean up in the later stage of the game. So we're going to be fighting on the right-hand side. We are now going to get a Hailstorm, catching the Jade Warrior Halberds maybe, and the Crane Gunners. No, it's going to be a Blizzard in the pocket. Fantastic. This spell is gorgeous as it just swirls and engulfs everything. Look at the damage on those Jade Warrior Halberds. That is terrifying to see 2 units die in a matter of seconds. Brilliant stuff. Love that there from the Ice Witch Tempest. In the middle, though, we are going to have some Warbear Riders fighting here up against the Terracotta Sentinel, a summon of the Ancestral Warriors, fighting with Cossars in the middle, Armoured Cossars for support as well, and gunfire as far as the eyes can see. The Streltsy here going to be shooting up against the armored giant in the middle, but he's going to be fighting with all the might of old as he tries to get in and do all the damage that he possibly can, but he is going to have no harmony bonuses, which is a bit of a shame, but he does fall, so the big giant will now no longer slay any of the Kislevite units. Now we do have a summon of the Ancestral Warriors pushing forward here up against the armoured Corsairs. They do have lots of armour piercing and 75% physical resistance. In the middle of the other side, the Longmire Rider, the Dragon-Blooded Lord, is going to be chasing off the Ice Witch Tempest. And the Tempest Caster could be in a bit of trouble. Negative 49 there. Under missile fire, damage sustained. Not looking too good here. We might settle down just a little bit. But we only have 68 here on the leadership in total. That's really not going to be enough maybe to see that caster coming back. In the middle here, we are going to see a Talons of the Night shredding through up against the Cossars. Lovely damage indeed. Taking down these range units is going to be very good up against the lightly armoured force on the flanks here of Cathay. So the Lord Choice is going to be pushing off. How are we looking here? Is it going to return negative 8? And it looks like it's going to be negative 78 there. So no, it looks like we're not going to be coming back here with the Lord Choice. It is going to be going off the edge of the map. On the backside here, we are going to be having Jade Lancers fighting up against Dervishes. That could be a very interesting fight indeed, but of course we're going to be having 3 against 1 with the armor piercing. No, Little Grom has fallen! No, the bad bears have gone down here, sadly. But we do see that Dervishes will be clearing up, getting their revenge on these Jade Lancers, and so they should. They have taken down the glorious bears. Now we do see in the middle, we have Zargard, the tankiest boys in the land, going to be fighting here up against Jade Warriors. It's going to be a bit of a tank-on-tank fight here with the snipers of the Crane Gunners firing in the middle. And so they're going to be shooting into the backside of the Zargard, wherever kind of holes arise here around the side of their own Jade Warriors. They're really trying to pop shots left, right, and centre. In the middle, Halberds are going to be charging across. The Jade Lancers do fall. We see here Armoured Corsairs Shieldbreaker activated. That's going to be thanks to the lovely Crane Gunners. In the backside, the Streltsy do use Buy Our Blood, but they do return here to the battlefield. Maybe another Talons of the Night in the backside, maybe catching some of these Armoured Corsairs. One thing I would say is putting that cast in front of the unit, as you know it's going to try and predict that movement and have it just slightly in front so you catch it for its full duration. In the middle here, the Jade Warriors are going to be holding true. They are going to be using that stance ability, which when they stand still here, they do get that added armor and then brace, which is really, really handy as we see Armored Corsairs fighting in the front line. It's going to be armor on armor here in the middle. Bear up against Dragon. As we see them fighting in the middle, these Jade Warriors, 90 armor up against 80 here. And it's like it's going to be 32 on 38 going up against 24 on 36. So hopefully here we are going to be seeing the Armored Corsairs winning, because there is going to be no harmony coming forward here for the Jade Warriors. In the backside though, we are going to have Zargard fighting alongside the Armoured Corsairs as they try and break down the Jade Warriors and the cheap Peasant Long Spearmen. These Jade Warriors though are going to be holding on the side. Lancers do retreat, maybe for another cycle charge here, but we are going to be breaking down Armoured Corsairs. Corsairs in the middle are going to be firing here up against the lightly armoured Crane Gunners, but they do have Silver Shields, so they can negate a lot of those small incoming missiles. In the backside here, Corsairs going to be shooting into the front, trying to delete as many Peasant Long Spearmen as possible. Balance of power here is actually going to be in Grand Cathay's favour. Not looking too good here for Kislev, but they are really grinding through this battle. It looks like here in the backside we do break the Jade Lancers. Negative 12 leadership. We'll probably see them off the edge of the map, but the Dervishes do reign supreme as the Legendary Cavalry is going to be coming round to the side here and maybe compromising a lot of these Jade Warrior crossbows. We see some quite beaten up Jade Warrior halberds. They need to kind of stay around, just protect here up against the crossbows. Crossbows going to be firing up against the Corsairs. They don't have much armor, so those crossbow bolts are going to do lots of damage for sure. Corsairs going to be fighting up against the halberds here in the middle. For the most here, it's going to be a bit of a chaff on chaff fight here. Corsairs and halberds going up against the elite here of the Zargard, which should be able to break down the Jade Warriors. They're pretty good armor piercing, even though they're not great weapons. Yeah, 10 is not too bad. If we compare that there to the Jade Warriors, going to be coming here at 7. So they should be able to get through and do some pretty decent work overall. We see the snipers in the backside. They're going to be popping shots here into the flanks of the Zargard. This is where the armored Corsairs and Cossars need to kind of deal with most of the Crane Gunners. But here we go! A rear charge of the cavalry. The Dervishes come through and they break here up against the Crane Gunners. Lovely work. Good micro effect there coming in from Hitman Hippo. He's playing an excellent game so far. And we do see in the middle, the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin is going to be chasing off the Dervishes. They do proc by our blood. I probably would have used those 30 seconds to fight here maybe up against the halberds, try and get as much DPS from them as possible without them shattering. But, you know, they should return, and they should be in some pretty good stead. We see in the middle here, the Peasant Long Spearmen going to be adding an extra front line here to hopefully push back the Zargard. The Zargard going to be pushing in the back here up against the Jade Warrior Halberds, trying to break down all these isolated infantry units. Really good micro and battlefield awareness here from Hitman Hippo. Cathay, though, is going to be reigning supreme. That Lord Choice in the sky is scary. Their mobility is truly terrifying, and what it should be doing is going throughout the battlefield here and chasing off these Cossars, but the Streltsy are in the pocket. And with the Streltsy being in the pocket, those hot, heavy lead coming out of the Streltsy's guns here are really going to be so fast that the Dragon-Blooded Lord cannot dodge them. So it means that we do have to be a little bit respectful here with the Lord Choice. Even if you have to go out and round, taking the long route is certainly going to be better here, because the Streltsy really will punish that Lord Choice in the middle. Corsar's going to be firing in the front here. Jade Warriors have used all of their ammunition. We are going to be seeing halberds in the backside. Peasant Long Spearmen charging forward, but the Dervishes are ready for combat. They're going to be charging in, pushing the squeeze here on top of Grand Cathay. We see quite a few of their units are going to be breaking Peasant Long Spearmen, halberds. We do see some return here for the Long Spearmen, but are they going to get back in time? Long Spearmen charge out, and those phalanx formations really going to be taking down the Dervishes quite quickly. It's going to be one horseman here in the middle, but he's going to be getting rather ignored here. I'd be a little bit disappointed if I was him. But we do see here the Lord Choice in the sky. He's going to be flying around, trying to fight up against the Dervishes. Only 92 speed. We have 105 here for the Lord Choice. So the long march is in. If we do get a surround here, maybe we get some pretty decent damage. But I think it's going to be, for the balance of power, better that the Dervishes get away. But the Longmarch is going to be fighting models as they run. I don't really think there's any place to call home. There's something going to be chasing off the Jade Warrior Halberds. That's probably the best thing to do with them. Chase off the unit, make sure they shatter, because you're going to be losing this unit anyway, because the Longmarch here has decided to take them out. In the middle, we are going to have Zargard still fighting on the battlefield. They're exhausted, they're depleted, their numbers are low, yet they hold true for the bear god Ursun as they fight just tooth and nail here as they try and slay these heavily armored Jade warriors that really respect the harmony of yin and yang. But the boys in the middle are now going to be getting the Streltsy forward to try and see if they can blitz down the line of the Jade warriors in an unsuspecting flank. In the middle, we are going to have Peasant Long Spearmen breaking here in quite a large number here. We have the Cossars beating the back. They have pretty decent melee attack stats. The defense, though, is certainly to be questioned. We do see Cossars charging forward. Hopefully, they can get into the weaker Jade Warrior Halberds and finish them off, but only time will tell. Jade Warrior crossbows do fall here to the might of the armoured Cossars. Balance of power still holding pretty even here. We can see that that really hasn't shifted from that state for quite a long time. Grand Cathay has been in the ascendancy. That's only going to be due to the Lord Choice. Lord Choice really has snapped on here to some Streltsy. That's a pretty good target here, but Streltsy can fight in melee combat with decent armor piercing, so you have got to be careful. You can whittle down the Lord Choice even in melee combat, but he's going to be sniping models. Those pistols are going to be better here for a range tool rather than melee, but there's going to be so much infantry here. I don't know if the Dragon-Blooded Lord really wants to take this mass fight. So pushing to the end of the battlefield, see the Dervishes doing some really good clean-up work here, coming from Hitman Hippo. Lovely stuff indeed. Zargard clearing out the Jade Warrior Halberds. And of course the Zargard are going to be wavering. We actually get a harmony bonus here whilst they're going to be broken with the Halberds. That's quite funny. But Armored Corsairs here now going to be pushing off all these broken entities. The Lord Choice is going to be in the middle, fighting up against Dervishes. They're going to be holding him in place. Armored Corsairs going to be getting those battle axes out and just smashing into the flanks here and the wings of this great Longmarch. But we do see the Dragon-Blooded Lord is going to be holding 2,200 HP. Balance of power here now might further and further be pulling into Kislev's favour. We do see that the Streltsy break here. The Lord Choice is going to be pushing. Can we hold here? The only problem is that fear is really going to play quite highly in the later stages of this game. Now we do break down the crossbows. Units are returning and the Dervishes have had enough. The Jade Warriors sadly do not break and they push off the nice cavalry. Peasant Long Spearmen are returning to the battle. We do see broken Streltsy, broken Zargard, by our blood getting procced here by the armoured Cossars as they charge heroically into combat up against the Dragon-Blooded Lord. But he's looking rather healthy. He's going to be cackling in the backside with his magic in his back pocket. And we do see here he's going to be at 2,059 HP as he's going to get the beautiful rear charge here on the Armored Corsairs. And this just shows mobility does reign supreme. Having that mobility in the back pocket to go from here to there to pick off these weak units really does play dividends in the later stage. But 16.5 minutes into this game, and this has been an excellent one for sure. And we do see returning Cossars, Streltsy, guns here going to be firing up against the Lord Choice. Do we get enough damage here to really pull balance of power back into the favour? 1,900 for the Dragon-Blooded Lord. We do see some pretty decent damage. 83 kills here for the Streltsy. Have done some really nice work. I'm a big fan of them, I must say. Corsairs going to be charging into combat. Same here with the armoured variant as they try and take down this infamous Lord of Grand Cathay. The Lord of Yin is really going to be butchering hundreds and hundreds, up to 214 kills so far. Can anything stop this Longmar monster, I wonder? We see a second break here for the Streltsy. Armored Corsairs might break for the second time as well, but these Corsairs are really persevering. We're wavering here with the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin, and so are the Peasant Long Spearmen. Could they charge into heroic melee combat? It looks like they are going to make it without breaking. Spearmen are going to be ready as they charge into Battle Axe and Shield here. And look at those colours as they collide in glorious hand-to-hand combat. Or should we say Battle Axe to Spear combat. As the Peasant Spearmen are going to be shattering. Some are going to be holding. And it looks like here the Armored Corsairs might win out the day here at the front. The Lord Choice might get a rear charge, and I think that could be crucial. Fear for -8 leadership, -16 for the rear charge. That could be the break there on the Armoured Corsairs. Lovely work, down to 12 leadership. Lovely cycle charging here for the Lord of Yin, but he has to make a bigger impact quicker. There's not enough infantry to keep this Lord Choice flying, so he needs to get in and cycle charge as much as possible. We see in the middle of the Cossars are going to be fighting to the best of their ability, slaying many peasants here on the battlefield. The Lord Choice gets another rear charge, and Grand Cathay gets the win. Dear God, what a fantastic game here sent in. Thank you very much, Hitman Hippo, for sending in this glorious defeat. It really was a spectacle for sure, so thank you so much, my friend, and I can't wait to see you continue to compete here in the Shortbeard League. So excellent stuff there from Kislev and Hitman. 2,100 for the Ice Witch Tempest. 450 for the Warbear Riders. Bit of a shame they kind of got compromised by halberds and kind of taken down by the Sentinels. I would like to see them get around the flanks a little bit, maybe fighting up against Jade Lancers, or waiting in the wings until the Jade Lancers maybe had to be pushed forward. They could have been great anti-armor here up against these Lancers. But 830 there for Little Grom, 780 there for the Zarkar for 180 kills is still rather impressive. 83, 1,150 for the Streltsy, 375, 790, 600, 117, and 1,100. So really good stuff. The front line really paying dividends, getting hundreds of kills here across the board. 517, 670, 300, and 160 there for the Cossars, with the Dervishes coming in at 350 and 730. 216 for 2,100 there, and 50 for the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin. An excellent performance, only two very expensive spells, and really good micromanagement there of the Lord Choice. Being on a Longmar just really gives that mobility, plus that fear, cycle charging, rear charging, really does make the difference there on leadership, and it could really help chase off units on the edge of the battlefield. So we see 710 there for the Terracotta Sentinel, 1,150, 1,330 for the Crane Gunners. Very good counter here up against Little Grom. Then we see 500 and 570 there for the Jade Lancers, 630 and 16 there for the Jade Warrior Halberds, with 1,030 for the Jade Warrior Crossbows. Crossbows, in my opinion, are really underrated. They actually have pretty decent AP value considering their class within Warhammer. You know, they're a mid-tier unit that has pretty decent AP, really good sustainability, and the shielded variant also brings extra melee defense, so they really can hold in melee combat. Now we're going to see 360, 150, 170, and 470 there for the Jade Warriors, with 150, 120, 190, and 200 for the Peasant Long Spearmen. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, please smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does make a huge difference here for the growth of the channel. So other than that, I've been your boy Logic, and I'll be seeing you all very soon.